And now let's see if we can get meteorologist Brantly out in Gulfport. Brantly, are you with us tonight? Can you hear me? Looks a little windy over there.
Taylor, we've started to see conditions improve just a little bit, but we're not out of the woods yet. We are still seeing very powerful winds right now, still gusting very heavily at times, still into at least very strong tropical storm force, if not hurricane force winds here in Gulfport. We had a wind gust earlier of about 101 miles per hour. That's the peak that we've seen around here. We'll have to wait for those official estimates tomorrow, of course, but at least 100 mile per hour wind gusts here in Gulfport. We're going to be waking up tomorrow to a lot of damage. We are in a pretty good spot right now, but earlier today we did have our news car damaged as a piece of debris flew through through the driver window and across. My crew and I are okay, but it just goes to show that it's not safe to be out here on the road. I mean, we were very lucky to not have been hit directly by that debris that came through our window. We did get some glass on us, a little bit of glass still in my eye right now, but overall we are safe, we're okay. And we do have some cars out here on the road. Some of these are storm chasers. We've seen some professional storm chasers out here. We've also seen law enforcement chasing down people like this right here that are just driving out and about. If you go out on the roads, it is just a very short amount of time before the Gulfport Police Department will track you down. We've seen a pretty heavy presence of Gulfport police out tonight, and they've been using their loudspeakers to tell people to get back inside. They've seen people walking around cars. They've been pulling over and making them get off the roads. So they're still enforcing those curfews, and for good reason. There are a lot of things damaged right now. We have trees down, we have branches down all across the area. Pieces of people's roofs on their houses have come off. Businesses have lost a lot of some portions of their structures. We've seen at least a couple of roofs torn off in at least sections. Earlier today we were in Jones Park. The main pavilion there, the top roof was flapping in the wind, eventually peeling off just a little bit. So portions of that breaking off. I don't know if you guys can see this here behind me. We are right along US 90. The water has receded quite a bit now, so we don't have that storm surge anymore. The wind switching around, but there are several objects out here that should not be where they are, including this large, it looks like a storage unit. This was across the street. This is a construction trailer that was across the street, across US 90, picked up by one of those heavier wind gusts and pushed over into the median on 90 now. We also have several trees down across the area and large limbs like this one right here that have become projectiles for now that the wind is switching around. We had the wind loosen things up at the beginning, and now that the winds are switching back around, we are starting to see that some of this debris become projectiles. Now we do have a couple of vehicles out here. Again, it's not safe to be out on the road. But as we look across here, we are watching the water recede very rapidly. Now this is not the case for everyone. The storm surge is still pretty bad for many locations right now. We're getting a pretty good wind gust at the moment. The storm surge is still pretty bad for many locations, especially those that are on the eastern side of the center of circulation. But on the back end of the storm, we're starting to see the water recede very rapidly. So that is good news, and that is one of the many blessings that we've had with such a fast-moving system. Not only are we not seeing this very prolonged wind event, we're not seeing the rainfall flooding concerns because this is moving so fast. And we're now not seeing the storm surge last very long. So that is the good news now that we are seeing the storm move through very quickly. But I do believe a lot of people are going to be waking up to a lot more damage than what they were anticipating tomorrow morning. I mean, we've had several wind gusts of just one moment here. We've had several wind gusts between around 80 and 100 miles per hour. So there have been several things just flying by, but we are in a good spot right now. We have a couple of structures around us that are blocking us from any of that flying debris. So I do believe we're going to be going into a significant damage here along the Mississippi Gulf Coast tomorrow, and we are going to see widespread power outages. We've seen several transformers explode and the power out for many locations already. Thousands are out of power. We've had several 911 calls of reportedly of people in distress. We've had trees fallen on homes. We've had people that have been injured that have been out driving on the road. So just know that we are expecting lots of damage. We have had at least a couple people injured already, and of course we did have that first fatality reported out of New Orleans earlier. But conditions will improve pretty rapidly, and by tomorrow morning we are expecting a much different scene here. So the conditions will continue improving overnight, but we're not out of the woods just yet. So make sure that you are taking this seriously and continuing to seek shelter, mainly from away from windows, away from doors. You want to put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. It's not really much of a rain event. We're really just looking at a lot of wind right now. We haven't really seen the rain be too heavy. We had some heavy rain at times, but it really is not too bad now. We've really a pretty dry spot at the moment. It's just the wind pushing through, and it's going to be moving through very quickly. So we still have some damaging wind gusts embedded even on the backside of the storm, which is typically the weaker side. So don't let your guard down just yet. Stay safe, stay in shelter. Don't get out on the roads. The curfews are still in place for many, if not all of our counties across the area. So just make sure that you are taking precautions and, of course, staying safe. We'll be back here in just a little bit in Gulfport. For now, Brantly Kike, News 25.
Brantly, thank you so much, and great job tonight. I'm glad you're okay with all the glass in your eye. Thank you so much for all you've done tonight, and please continue to stay safe. I'll see you shortly. Also with Zeta, that brawl